and throw these smaller pieces off, and this is what I attempt to make arrowheads, knives, and tools, hide scrapers, thumb scrapers, awls for drilling holes in wood or drilling holes in bone or stone. They would take, if they wanted a hole in a piece of stone, a lot of times they would take a piece of river reed and sand and just, a lot of people in this area when they was growing up, and still do it today, go out and look for arrowhead surface look in plowed fields and such as that. They'll find flint points, and most people thinks that they just picked up stones off the ground out here. Most of the stone that was used in this area was the only volcanic stone that I know of in this part of the country is called rhyolite. And they made some points out of that, but most of the local points that were made was from quartz.
A Native American in the area of Yadkin River, possibly here in Wilkes County, would nap out these arrowheads and trade them to people in the Mississippi area?
Well, they had people that would trade, and they would run the trade routes, land and water. Right. Not just necessarily trade routes just being on the rivers. Right. They would travel overland also. Right. But they most all of the villages would be, they would have a village napper. Right. And it was kind of like, and they also had metal workers, black iron metal workers. A lot of people think, well, a white man just had a lock on working with metal. That's not the case. They would have a village napper, and he would trade his, because the Native Americans, so to speak, wrote the book on trading. And I mean, we didn't draw a paycheck or something, or we would trade hides, beadwork, moccasins, whatever the person was good at crafting. And that's the reason the Native Americans has got such a vast span of different crafts that they do.
I don't know whether they told me any stories or not, because back then when a white man married a Native American, they were kind of ostracized.
A lot of people says that Native Americans have it made because the government takes care of them. The government has not given Native Americans 1/16 of what they have taken away from them. Our lifestyles were changed. Our spiritual beliefs were changed. Our family ways were changed. The Cherokee believed that you marry no one in your clan. And the clans were family, you know. They were family, just like communities. And when the white man came over, they said, well, that shouldn't be. They should be able to marry who they want to. Punishments to marry somebody in your clan could have been death. And so when the white man could put the pressure on the Cherokee, they said, all right, then the punishment would be a good beating. And then later on, as the government kept pushing and pushing, they changed and said, oh, that's it, there's no punishment. So the government changed our culture that we believed in for thousands of years and wanted to be the same as their culture. Everything that the white man has taken from us and changed to their way has not worked for us. We spent time with our children. We raised our children as families. When you had a child, not only did the mother teach and the father teach, but so did the aunts and the uncles and the grandparents and anyone else in the village. And we always made sure that our children were taught from a very small age. And everything that they were taught from a small age led into what they were going to be later on when they were adults. Education was one of the first things on the agenda for children. The education of respect was one of the most important. Respect of the land, of Mother Earth, respect of everything, of all animals, all plants, trees, everything we show respect to. And respect to every person, whether it's your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your sister, your cousin, or no blood relative or village relative, but to show respect to everyone. And of course, to show respect not only to Mother Earth, but also to what we call Father Sky, or the Creator, the one who created the earth. Our beliefs are from our heart and from experience. Our people were not assigned a job. We took on a responsibility of life, you see. So we know that the women raised the gardens, and more or less owned the gardens. Sometimes the men would help the women prepare the land before the garden was planted, but the women took care of the growing of the garden. They took care of mostly of raising the children, while the men were out doing the hunting to bring the food home and also being the warriors. So it wasn't, this is your job and this is my job. It was the responsibilities that we took, and we shared them together. So we had the respect of each other. I believe that the colors of the flowers is just like the colors of the people, to make Mother Earth more beautiful. There is no person that has a color to them that should be derogatory to their life or any way of their culture. Their color is given to them because of the beauty of the color that the Creator's given us.
Each piece of stone that I work with, if anybody stands around and watches me nap very long, when I pick up an original piece to start working with, I'll sit around and I'll feel the stone. I might just be looking off out into space, but I'm trying to become one with this piece of stone. And I'm in hopes that the piece of stone will bless me with the knowledge of knowing what this piece of stone wants to be.
Indian people are a unique people. We are not, we're completely different. I'm not saying better, different in most cultures, most races. We have our ways of life and believe in our ways of life that worked for thousands and thousands of years, In the medicine field, our people would go to the forest, and they would pick the different herbs that they were taught to use for different medicines. We know in reading history that Native people did not know what the flu was, didn't know what bronchitis was, didn't know what chicken pox was, didn't know what smallpox was, or the measles. We didn't know all of those things.
See, Grandmother Long passed that medicine, probably from the Cherokee and the Scotch-Irish and the people like the Melanesians on down through the generations. That Mom was burned over half her body from here down, plus her hands, and they doctored her with Bama Gilead buds and fresh mutton tallow. Made some kind of concoction, and she didn't even have a scar, and she was red-headed. So you can figure, but Dr. Turner came and seen her, and he said if she lives 2 hours, give her some kind of such medicine. But when about 10 days, he didn't hear about her dying. He come back to see how she was. And Grandmother, don't know, I think these people were psychic in a way, to a point. Grandmother treated her. She even scorched the sheets after she washed them. Scorched the sheets, put her under a sheet, and dabbed that stuff on her. Mama didn't have a scar. The Cherokee also used people like the holly for tea, and even the mistletoe. But that stuff's like foxglove. It'll kill you if you do wrong, but it was used as medicine. Very small, minute amounts, but it was still nevertheless used for medicine. But I think it comes from the Native American people because they had 175 trees that were pharmaceutical qualities of these trees were known to these shamans or wise people among the people. They call them medicine men, a lot of other things, and sometimes derogatory names because they didn't understand what was going on. But all these medicines and herbs and stuff that come from the Indians, and 45% of the foodstuffs that the Europeans use now came from America, the Native American people, or the Aboriginal people.